everybody, this is Tim from the Marching Roundtable, and this may be our most important and helpful conversation we've had so far. Budget saving tips. What are your best budget saving tips? Who wants to go first?
I'll say stick to it. Set a number and stick to it.
That's great. How many times have people like, oh, I need another extra $1,000 for that flex? No,
and it's not that easy to get all the time. So I think if you stay organized and stick to that original budget, you should be good.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with borrowing. There's nothing wrong with buying used. And there's some great resources out there. I have a closet full of beautiful things that I'm always happy to loan people and do. And there are times where I'm the recipient of those. I see a set of flags someone spun in fall and I want to use them for indoor. Yeah. And they'll be like, sure, you can use them. And that's another great resource, I think.
Well, and I think as far as directors in maybe those towns that are more apart from other places that you don't have access to some of those closets for friends, look online. There's some great websites that you can use to find those things. But also be realistic about your budget and think, is it worth my money to spend that on this thing that you want to buy? Like, you don't need to spend half your budget on props that you will only use twice whenever you could find something online that could do well. Plan ahead.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. First off, I want to point out, we're talking about you can get used flags, costumes, floors, props, what else? Like
everything.
Equipment.
Rifles, sabers.
Okay, and here's what I wanted to jump off on what you said. I would much rather have a program. All right, let's say you have a developing program. Most of us do, right? Mm-hmm. So I would much rather than get a used set of flags or costumes, all that money they saved, get another tech. Get somebody to come in and teach your kids. Just like I always say, you know, a lot of people need to teach their kids to play more than they need that $20,000 prop for their show. Really think about how you're budgeting. And I think there's lots of ways to save money with all of this used stuff that's out there. Listen, we all have tons of stuff in our closets that we're not using that we can resell or borrow. And like you said, there's probably somebody right down the road. You know, how many times have you seen on Facebook somebody saying, who has a set of blue flags? I need a set of blue flags stat. And somebody goes, I do. And they send them over to them, or they say, I know where you can buy some real cheap, whatever. Super important.
Well, and talk to your, like, I know a lot of people have reps in the area that sell these equipments. So talk to them. They might have friends that say, well, I know they used these last year. I can talk to them and see if they have it, or they have a discount or something like that. It really is. Ask around. Don't be afraid to communicate with them, because that really does do it. And going back on what you said about the saving that money, putting it towards having a tech, never underestimate the value of having a great staff. Because the stress that you have can really be taken off if you have a staff that you trust, that knows what they're talking about, that you really can help create the program that you want.
Right, and that's how you're going to build your program best. Think about where you're spending your money. Let's see what the experts have to say before we go.
There's areas you can skimp, and there's areas you can't skimp. Don't skimp on costumes, don't skimp on flags, but you can arrange your schedule so that you don't have to travel so far. Or you can do an extra fundraiser if you need a new set of flags. But
and for everyone listening, Matt always knows a guy for everything.
I know a guy. I got a guy. I got a guy.
That's such a way of existence that works. All right.
Friends. Friends, having like this little network of friends where you know you need a flower flag, or you know you need a pink flag, and you know somebody else has it, and you just ask to borrow or ask to buy it cheaply. And I always try to help other groups when we can. Like, we literally just had an old floor taking up space. We gave it to a percussion group in Central PA because we didn't need it. So there's like just having that network and seeing where you can borrow, and reusing as much as you can.
Okay, lots of budget saving tips. I think everybody was really
good luck.
smart.
We can do this a lot.
You think smartly about how you're using your money. Get used stuff. Like,
if you need to borrow something, you can hit me up.
Everybody has something you can probably borrow. It's really, really helpful. I love that. And there are more things about topics like this on the Marching Roundtable about how to use smart money and get props and things done more cheaply. So check that out too. Thanks, everybody.